Okay, the next one that we're going to move on to, guys, Alex Killorn, longtime member of the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is sort of similar to, what Andre Palat did last season. He cashed in big time with the New Jersey Devils, and that deal certainly looks good for the team and the player. So Killorn reunites with Pat Verbeek, who used to be in Tampa, of course, as an assistant GM, now the guy in Anaheim. He reunites with him. It's a 4-year deal at an AAV of $6.25 million for the 33-year-old Alex Killorn. So, Case, back to you for this one.
I've seen a lot of backlash on the internet about this deal, but personally, I love it for Anaheim. I'm going to give them a for this one, a just straight solid A for this. You're getting a goal-scoring and point-producing, hard-nosed player who's been there, done that. I think you're getting 130 plus, 140 playoff games out of Killorn. Right now, they're $28 million in the bank account after signing him. They still got to sign, Zegras and Troy Terry and Drysdale. But I think that when you have as much cap available as they did, it makes a ton of sense, just like the Devils did, to bring in a veteran guy to kind of lead these young players that you have filled in this roster and kind of show them what it takes to win in the NHL. And at the same time, you're getting a good player here who absolutely loves the water, so why not put him in Anaheim?
Yeah, that is true. He's the guy in the Sea-Doo doing interviews. I forget what that segment was called that he did, but yeah,
Doc Talk, I think.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, if it's not, you should copyright that right now, Case. That's a great name. But yeah, okay. So for Killorn, I gave it a B. A little bit lower than Casey as well, only because of that 4-year term. I think if it were 3 years, I would be up to a B plus, maybe an A minus. Again, like you said, Case, it really doesn't matter that much because it's in Anaheim and they have a ton of cap space. I just wonder if he looked around the league and, teams were offering him 3 years and Anaheim said, you know what, we'll give you 4. I just wonder if in 4 years' time when he's 37, because let's not forget, he's 33 now, he's not the fastest player and your legs are the first thing to go. I just wonder if at 37 years old, when Anaheim is ready to compete, if that contract is going to be, put a little bit of a damper on the situation, similar to a guy like Patrick Marleau did with the Maple Leafs when he also made, I think it was 6.25. Clearly different players. But that being said, Killorn does play a bit of a harder game, and those guys' bodies tend to break down quicker. All of that to be said, though, his last 2 years have been some of his best in the league. I think he had 64, 65 points last year, about 60 the year before. So, he's trending in the right direction despite being a bit of an older player, and maybe with a bit more leeway to be offensive than he had in Tampa Bay, he could be a really effective player for Anaheim. So I'll give it a B.
Just quickly, Hart, before you jump in, I kind of looked in the similar fashion as you, Chad, is what's this going to look like 4 years down the road. The one thing that actually had me stay in the A category is the Anaheim Ducks cap situation is wonderful at the moment. They have no dead cap, like no bought out players, no one they're retaining salary for, and there's no scary contracts at all on this team. In 4 years' time, you're going to have Killorn and Ryan Strome coming off the books, and that's going to be $11.25 million available to give Drysdale that contract after his bridge contract he's probably going to get right now. I think they're in a great situation, and they're not the Toronto Maple Leafs with 3 players getting paid over $10 million to compare to that Marleau situation.
Yes. And also, too, let's not forget with Killorn, it's a player who can currently contribute. It's not like this is just a guy who plays down in the lineup. Like I said, I think he had 64 points last year. And with more of an opportunity to play offensively, I think he could be really important. And the experience speaks for itself, too. It cannot be overstated. A guy who's played that many playoff games, that's super important for the younger players.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely. And, again, just the connection with the general manager and going back to their days in Tampa, I think that's huge. Anaheim is in a good cap situation. Zegras and Troy Terry are they can get new extensions now. And so I wouldn't think that either of those would be anything more than somewhere in the eights for those two players. So they're set up in a good cap situation to get that business done as well. So I'll give this an A, even though the term is 4 years for a 33-year-old. He's still a productive player, and like we've said before, Case, I think you were the one to say this, 4 years is kind of the new 2 years. Like, they can really maximize the first 2 years of this deal and then just deal with the other 2 years on the back half of that contract when they're still in a good cap situation, when the salary cap is up by that point and they are ready to compete. So for right now, gives them some help. Good, honest, hardworking player with a ton of experience. He knows the GM in Pat Verbeek. So yeah, I'll give this deal an A.